All right, all right. Welcome everybody to Live Courageously podcast show, which it may be number 6 of 2023, and it'll be, if it comes together, the 22nd podcast show since I started a year ago. I'm starting this a little bit on fate because my guest is having a technical problem, so I'm going to start going, and hopefully he will join me shortly. Otherwise, I'm going to pivot and take it in a different direction. So hopefully, I should have known better. It's Super Bowl Sunday. And anyway, but we'll see what it is, how it works out today. This is what is known as live broadcasting, not edited. So it always has its challenges. So anyway, the show Live Courageously has been the conscious theme of my life for the last 3 years since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. And it's been an unconscious theme for most of my life. And if you haven't seen the previous 21 podcasts with some of my amazing friends sharing their powerful stories of overcoming all odds and going on to live their best life, you can watch them on my John Duffy Live Courageously YouTube channel. So what is the show about? This show is about faith over fear. Fear is just a reaction, but courage is a choice. And I suggest you consciously choose courage every time you experience fear. And as I say that, my guest just came into the green room. So I guess it was good to go out on faith that it was going to appear. He's in the green room. I'll be joining him in a minute. But anyway, like I said, I suggest you consciously choose courage every time you experience fear to get through life and to deal with whatever life may throw at you in the future. Someone posted, and I like to share this, about the 6 types of courage that I would like you to share. I'd like to share with you, and hopefully you can share with other people. And the 6 types of courage are physical courage, to keep going with resiliency; social courage, to be yourself unapologetically; moral courage, doing the right thing even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular; emotional courage, feeling all your emotions without guilt or attachment; intellectual courage, to learn, unlearn, and relearn with an open and flexible mind; and finally, spiritual courage, living with purpose and meaning. So I would suggest it would serve you well to adopt all of them in your life. And years ago, I was introduced to a term you may or may not have heard of called a God wink. And I looked it up, and the definition is an event or personal experience often identified as coincidence, yet so astonishing that it's seen as a sign of divine intervention. And a person by the name of Squire D. Rushnell gave it that definition. Now, I never heard the term before. Was introduced to it, but I thought about it, and I started seeing all the God winks in my life, and I continue to see and experience them. My connection with my guest today is an example of a few of them, and I will share them with you when I speak with him. So today, let me introduce you to my guest and good brother, Tony GARCIA. Tony is a producer, a director, a filmmaker. He earned his Bachelor's of Science from the Art Institute of Houston. His studies fine-tuned his management skills in the art of filmmaking, which related to his background was serving in the armed forces in the U.S. Army. As a filmmaker, he has focused on storytelling, and as a scriptwriter, he completed his short film, Daughters of Houston. The development of this film enabled Tony to connect and reflect on the power of character development. The story shaped the course of his future goals in filmmaking by focusing on the power shift of all the characters in this film and capturing them through the power of the lens and camera. Tony has built his career by accomplishing goals in the U.S. Army, as a contractor for the U.S. services, and as a safety officer in the civilian sector. These traits are the core concepts that he uses on every film production and continues to develop with his craft. Tony continues to hone his skill in his spare time by attending local plays, which connect him with new talent, and by networking, by relating filmmaking with live performances, by fusing them to create the next generation of actors as his goal. Filmmaking has been Tony's passion. The art form is the drive that keeps him striving to be the next producer, director, and storyteller. The creation of filmmaking has taken Tony to Florida, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and here locally, and I say here in Houston, and he's worked on feature films out of Houston. Tony is the owner of TkG Media Productions, which has produced and directed live events and film productions in Houston, Texas. And Tony GARCIA has produced and directed video productions that featured Chef Charles Carroll, executive chef of the River Oaks Country Club, and he's also directed a TV set production featuring Charles Chanel Brown. This while completing his studies at the Art Institute of Houston. He's worked on several film productions as a location manager on productions called What Happened to My Sister, Muddy Waters, H-Town, and commercials for Can-Am, Toyota, and is currently filming a documentary series. So I'd like to welcome to the show my good brother, Tony Garcia. Hey, brother, welcome, man.
Well, hi, thank you, John, for this. It's a wonderful honor to be here with you.
Well, I thank you for taking the time on Super Bowl Sunday. So, I know that's you're going to be able to. Hopefully, we'll get off the show in a while. You can watch and cheer for your team, and hopefully they'll win. But two of the things I usually like to ask people when I start out this show, Tony, is the first thing is how did we meet? And I talked about a God wink, and I'm going to share what that meant to me. But if you remember, when did we first meet, me and you? How did we make this connection that's taken us past that point?
Me and you met on a production. I guess we were shooting a production for Charles Carroll, a small production here in Houston, Texas. While I was doing the DIT on it, I recall you kind of you brought a team. I'm sorry, let me go back. You brought a director and yourself from LA to shoot this for Charles. And me and Charles have been working on this for a while already. But Charles said, you know what, I need some directorship and a line supervisor like yourself from LA to kind of get this thing going in a more experienced way. Because at the time, me and my team were still going to, graduating from college, and we were just about to wrap up or finish and graduating from the Art Institute at the time. And me and you were kind of waiting for all that download to happen on our computer when you were walking back and forth. And I said, so Penny, for your thoughts. And you had mentioned to me that you were trying to, within your schedule, you were trying to get some time in there to meet with a gentleman that you were possibly interested in working with there in Houston, Texas. And you mentioned the name of Termite. Now, God has his hands in all of this, because
now let me just stop you for 1 second, then I'll let you continue with the story.
Sure.
But so like when I say a God wink, the fact that we met, all what you're saying is true. You came as doing DIT on this cooking show for a friend of mine. Now you go, how does this happen? Because that friend of mine was, we met in California. When I moved to California, both of us were counselors with runaway kids in Hollywood at a program called Covenant House. And he started directing rap videos. And from that, he asked me to be his production manager. So I said, what's a production manager? I was acting at the time. So he told me what a production manager was. And so I said, oh yeah, I could do that. That's easy. And so next thing I know, I was his production manager. And we did some rap videos together before I gravitated into feature films and doing what I do. But many, many, many years later, he reached out to me and said, hey, I got this project down in Houston, Texas. I'm like, yeah, what is it? It's a cooking show. I'm like, I don't do cooking shows. But it was for him, and he was the one who started me in the business. And I was like, well, of course, for you, I'll do anything. So I ended up in Houston, Texas, doing a cooking show, and I meet you. And then, like you said, you asked me for a penny for my thoughts, and then we started the conversation. So continue that one, Tony.
So when we got to that point, you had mentioned about a gentleman named Termite Watkins, and unbeknownst to you at the time, before I became a film student or even in the film industry, I used to work for a contracting company overseas, and I assisted Termite in not only housing him, but also I believe we even provided some form of security for him. And Termite was commissioned by USMI at the time. That's the agency that we were working with as well, to acquire and or find some athletes. At the time, we were still so were still in the Iraqi war, and it was just intense at the time. So Termite got commissioned to find people that were athletic, had the athletic abilities to become boxers. And again, I didn't know Termite from anywhere at the time. So yeah, we housed him. We housed him for almost 30 days or something like that, 30, 31 days there. And we got him all squared away. While he was there in Iraq, he found a couple of good athletes, and his mission was to take these athletes to the Olympics. And and that was a big thing. It was a huge thing for not only for both of our countries, but U.S. and Iraq. And he ended up taking some kids to the Olympics. So
So
that's the story of Termite. But
right, and here we like once again, it's like, and that's why I say coincidence. I don't think
no,
so. Godwink. So first, James Michael Marshall puts me in Houston, Texas, doing of all things for me a cooking show, which I had no interest whatsoever except to help him. And then all of a sudden, I get to meet you, and then you happen to ask me. And if you didn't ask me, I never would have shared the story of Termite, and you would never have shared the story about how you housed him and provided services for him when he was in Iraq, which then led us to go, man, I got to connect you and him,
Termite.
because why did I get connected to you? I mean, of all people, right? So I found a time in Houston while I was there before I left from that show, and we ended up going over to Fighter Nation, which is his
Mhm.
boxing gym in Houston, Texas. And you came in and surprised him. Amazing. I mean, it was, and I filmed
Yeah.
it. I was videotaping. I was like, oh my gosh, this was so amazing to watch. But it was this reconnection of you and him, who had this experience in Iraq. So you take it for there for a minute for me.
But I really want to interject the fact that it was a God story, because Termite is a brother of mine. We basically, we go to kind of not combat or I'm not saying that combat, we went combat together, but we were in that same region together. It meant a lot to see him again. And I don't believe you at the time, I don't think you knew exactly what he meant to me and
right. I didn't.
what we both meant to each other. And I say that because, man, we were brothers, and straight up, I learned over 30 some odd days there. I spent a lot of time with him, and we really connected very well. And so I think when he came out of when he came out of his car and I came out of my car, and we kind of met and hugged each other, I think that connected you to say this guy really knows Tom Wright very well.
Yeah,
So
because I knew you said you did, but I didn't know how deep that connection was. And like you said, neither one of you, he wasn't in the military. He was over there doing a civilian mission to
correct.
take Iraqis to the Olympics. And he was given this impossible task, and he had 10 months to accomplish that ridiculously impossible task. And that's when you connected with him while he was on that mission for the U.S. government, and he pulled it off. And he ended up taking the Iraq team to the 2004 Olympics in Athens, Greece. But to go back, like I said, you connected with him there that day, and you said it was I saw it because it was special to me. And you went into the gym, and you were introduced. He introduced you, and I remember all the young kids in the gym who were training under him, and he volunteers his time to train these young kids to give them a future away from crime, drugs, the ghetto, just all kinds of things to give them a brighter future and a possibility, a vision of what they can accomplish in their life. But anyway, you come in, he introduces you, and then you guys, he has you lead together with
Bible
them in
study.
prayer. And so you guys prayed for these kids and prayed for everybody. And it was just one of those moments that you go, wow, one of those magic moments that you have to say was a God wink, in my opinion.
And we did a whole lot of Bible studies there too in what we call Ahila, where we were at in Iraq. We mentioned, I didn't mention that before, but we did a lot of prayer time, Bible studies, and so that really connected us with God initially. And then when I walked into, like you said, Fighter Nation, it was amazing how many kids he was support, he supported, how many kids were there. and believing in Christ first, then, and then doing the boxing thing. So it was very powerful.
Well, that's how we met. My next question, and that's amazing right there, just that whole how we connected and how we connected and continue to connect further because of that. My next question I always ask people, and then we're going to use that to get into your life and your history, Tony. But I always ask, people, what does live courageously mean to you? Because it's the name of my show, it's the name of the podcast. But I bring people on who had courageous lives, and you clearly have had one. And I know some of your story, or a lot of your story, but maybe not all of it. But why don't you share, what does that mean to you? And then let's go down in your story, where you grew up, what you did, joining the Army and all that. Take us along the path of Tony Garcia.
You got it. So I grew up in South Texas, born and raised in Harlingen, Texas. Was there until I was 19, went into the military right after high school, into the U.S. Army. At the time, we got into Desert Storm. I was in 101st Airborne Division. We went to Desert Storm. Then we came back. I came from there, went to Germany for 3 years in Bamberg, Germany. That was a pretty intense ordeal as well. Came back from there, from that tour, and then went to Fort Hood, Texas. As soon as I got to Fort Hood, Texas, within 3 months, we were sent back to Kuwait again in Trends of Action 95. I had a severe accident over there. It was pretty bad on the right the day before we were deployed, coming back home. On that day, I had a pretty bad accident, and that kind of sealed my career in the military. I had a severe TBI.
What year was that, Tony?
That was in 95 when we came back from Iraq. So with that said, it was a long recovery. I knew it was going to be hard because of so many things that were going on with my body after the accident. And I think the hardest part of all that is not to understand that the military trains you to be a soldier or be a combat, and you're good to go. But as soon as you fall into that recovery, they don't prepare you to come out of that. So there was a lot of stuff going on, not only from a medical standpoint, but your physical ability. You can't do it anymore. You have to reinvent yourself. And by reinventing myself, I still had enough. I think I had enough to serve for my country as well. So we out there. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, we got a little break up.
So
keep going.
So with that, I was led to everywhere I went: Djibouti, Africa. I went to Iraq, Kuwait, and all those places that I went to. The Lord led me to lead Bible studies. That was my first and foremost thing to do. So, I mean, to lead a Bible study, and all the top 3 leaders of that entity, we're talking military leader, civilian leader, and myself, we would pray constantly on a day-to-day when, not only for breakfast, but we would have Bible studies together. And that's the thing, is living courageously. It's about what you do out there, and how you do it out there, and how you pull, and how you let Christ lead you into those things and step into Christ's path. And then just, teach as much as we can about the love of Christ out there. And it was powerful.
Well, like I said,
every location.
Now I was going to say, after getting out of the military and being injured, but you put yourself back into, as a contractor, you put yourself into pretty dangerous places in the world, both again, Africa and Iraq. And that's of course where you met Termite, in one of those dangerous places at the time in 2003. But that took courage on your part. It took a certain bravery to be able to be willing to do that. And your faith obviously played a big part. And you're talking about what your faith played for you, because that was what led you and continued to lead you as you went through that. So keep going on with that, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say that was one of the best things that brought me to be who I am even today. It was, being led by God's favor, one, and protection, and then how we can, how we helped each other on every day that was just, it could have gone any which way. So that was very difficult, but it was hard because also you're caught into prayer. You focus on God, and that's what works on to me. That's how it helped me to be a stronger person, a stronger believer, and a stronger understanding what God wants you to do for the future. And then He opens the doors for other things, because that when that door shut, and I say that door shut, I'm talking about from a production, from a contracting standpoint. Then you have to reinvent yourself. How are you going to reinvent yourself? So, I as a site manager there, I did a lot of work with engineers, and I had a good engineering background, but I didn't have the degree. So I wasn't always looked over and looked over and looked over. So how am I going to reinvent yourself? You don't have the physical ability anymore. You can't be physically like you used to be. You're in constant, adjusting from your pain that you survive every single day. But again, you put it on God's hands, and He opens the doors for you. So we not only did we open, or not open, but I'm saying that we went to different processes of understanding where God leads me to. So I went in back to the VA. The VA said, would you like to go back to school? And I'm like, well, and at the time I still was dealing with a lot of TBI stuff, and I didn't know if I even was capable of doing that. But it was very, very difficult to go back to school with a younger crowd. But you still, you pray about it. He gives you the strength. He gives you the power. And I got my bachelor's degree. It was one of the hardest things I ever done.
Well, I'm gonna throw a couple of pictures up here right now. If you'll see, that's you with in your graduation outfit, and then this is with a lot of your fellow students.
I believe we worked with a couple of those guys, John. I think
Yes, we did. So really, you had a good group of guys and a good team of people who went to school with you, and I got introduced to through you. Obviously, you brought them onto the project, and we had a great time with them. But like you said, so you pivoted multiple times in your life, and you reinvented yourself, and that's a word you use, and I think it's an important thing for people to understand, because life isn't always a straight path, and things change, and you may be headed in one direction, and something happens that just knocks you out of an injury, or in your case in the military, or something else, and you have to reinvent yourself. And having the courage to reinvent yourself and to go into a new area that you know nothing of, and to start all over, and to find the courage and the faith that you're going to get through that new reinvention is what you did again. And then that's what led us to meet you. So you went through school, the Art Institute, you got your degree there, and then you went on. And so tell us a little bit about that further.
So from there, again, tapping into so many different artistic concepts and artistic skill sets that were there, that was pretty surreal, because I never thought I would have an artistic process that I understood how to express myself in those ways. But that I really connected with those guys there. I'm talking about from not only from the culinary industry, from the fashion industry, so many different things that Houston is so alive with, that there were so many stories to tell. So what I did was I just connected with the right people there in the Art Institute, and it led me into the with Chef Carol. So different organizations with Houston Fashion Week and stuff like that. A lot of things that were fashion that were working here in Houston. I just connected with the right people, and God led me into those conditions and situations. So as storytellers, then we understand how to give this, or how to process that story, how to tell the story, and it really connected with a lot of the things that I had done in the past. So all my experiences really connected. And if I can help anybody out there with that, is that use those experiences to connect to your new developments and your new, I want to say, reinventing of yourself, because you find your purpose. I thought I had lost my purpose, to be honest with you, because I was a broken guy. When I finally got back into school, I started rebuilding my confidence, rebuilding my ability to see the world in in the eyes of behind of a camera. And God led me into that direction, and it was just powerful.
And I know this from when I met you, and all our talks since then, and the things that we've done. Because besides that, you came and you brought your team and you filmed us when we did a press conference with Termite in Houston, Texas, as well. You brought in a whole team of people and did a great job on that. But you found this new passion, because it comes across when I speak to you, when I've spoke to you in person as well, that you're just passionate about this. You're passionate about filmmaking. You're passionate about storytelling. You're passionate about telling these stories. And so you're just passionate. You found, is a new part of who you are. And that's kind of your journey that you're on right now. So tell us a little bit about that, and why are you so passionate?
I think that, in fact, I know the passion of storytelling, this passion of, being behind that lens and telling and directing people, producing producing, I want to say, shows and stuff. It gives you that full control. And again, it's led by God, because I would not be, no way that I would be able to do this by myself. I got good people around me, like yourself, good people that I connect with, that mentors that have come, a lot of my professors, very good mentors that I connected with. And it's not just myself, to include my spouse, that she is so supportive with everything and anything that I do, from a photography standpoint, from film, from all these things that is not just Tony. It's a group of people that not only believe in God, but also believe in me. And that's one of the things that I get kind of choked up with, because I thought I had lost that purpose. And to regain that purpose through Christ is, and again, the story from Termite, story meeting with you guys, it was powerful. It's a powerful thing. And then to dig into the process of directing. I love directing, because you get to know what those characters are and what those characters mean to the story. And little by little, you start seeing yourselves within those characters, and then connecting that, and telling that story, and filming it is my passion, to be honest with you. This is my complete passion.
Well, one of the other things that I know you went on, Tony, as well, a journey, is that you formed the company,
Mhm.
and that company, and you use that company as a way to employ the team, the people that you went to school with, other people, and you gave them opportunities to work in the industry as well. So you kind of went on an entrepreneurial journey as well, by setting up your company and beginning to use that as a way to bring in projects, make contacts, network. And so tell us a little bit about the company that you formed, why you formed it, and the value it has by being able to employ other people and give them an opportunity to work in the industry just like yourself.
Again, so I'm glad you asked that, because the key, one of the key things is, I can't. It's not just Tony Garcia. Is that when I connect to the right people as a producer, you put the right person to do the right thing, and you can't do it all your own. So that's why I kind of really pushed at working as a company, so I have a really great team, that's a production team that can make it happen uh, in a matter of time. You've seen them at work. They get there, they get the job done, and they move forward with everything they do. But one of my major things was to help one another, to help them, understand what that art of filmmaking is, and then expressing myself so I have, it's not my team, it's our team, first of all. And that our team works together and makes things happen like you wouldn't believe. But the key thing is that they see your vision, they believe in that vision. And that vision has been told so many different times, like you mentioned, when we go out there and go shoot termite, and the questions that were mentioned, and termites companions and stuff like that. It just elevates the way you tell the story, and how other people can help out. One of the key things too is is I wouldn't be here unless I had a group of people that make it happen for TkG or Tony Garcia. It's not just a Tony Garcia thing. My team is not my team; it's our team, and those guys rock, man. Those guys really know what they're doing. I have training on every other. We're building our team as far as getting the training done and so forth. So it's always building. You're always building, 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 and then when you do build, you see that that goal being achieved. It's really just it's amazing to see it from nothing to achieving your goal of the art of film work. Absolutely. But I help, we got a very good team, and Cynthia, I got two Cynthias in my team. Ari, I miss my DP. He's an awesome guy. A shout out to Ari. Um, I miss that guy. It's just amazing of a DP that he is. And right now we have a new DP on board, and he's Geo is amazing. Again, shout out to Geo. These guys rock. These guys do everything for us.
Tell us a little bit maybe of some of the projects you either worked on or are working on right now that you enjoy the most, or you just want to share either way.
Sure. Absolutely. Right now we're working on a little docu-series. We're putting it together. It's called Fiel, and Fiel is a translation for hope. And Fiel is a organization here in Houston that is helping a lot of they help people that come across get documented from different countries, not just Mexico, but Ukraine. They use different countries that they help people in understanding how the process works. And so we don't go to the political aspect of it. We're doing the humanitarian aspect of it, what that means as a humanitarian aspect, and using the lens to be that human, getting that camera to become that character, so we can capture that the humanity aspect of this. So this docuseries is it's pretty intense. We're right now in the middle of training and filming for that as well. So that's one of the major projects that we're working on right now. And the other one is, I do a lot of work on different productions, because you still got to have some form of revenue coming in. So that my niche here in Houston, Texas is locations manager. They've been hiring me for so many different location manager, not only for featured films, also we do commercials here in Houston. So yeah, I've been working quite a bit in the field of locations manager. So that's ongoing. That's always an ongoing. You're always bettering yourself that way. But both aspects, working both sides, you still kind of build the way you see the story, and get the story done correctly, I would say, or in the eyes of a producer / director. Absolutely. But yeah, we're and steadily working with photography work too, helping a lot of people with establishing their businesses as a photographer. It's no point of just knowing what to do and not helping others. So that's the other thing that I do is help as many people as I can while they ask questions about photography work or building their businesses. There's no no to me. If people want to know what I know, I can it's like people help me, I can help them.
Yeah. So let me ask you with that, because in a lot of areas, and you are one in what you do is, you're a leader, and you were a leader when you were doing the DIT for us. I mean, you operate in the world as somebody who's a leader, but like what you just said, being a leader is somebody. It's not about you. It's about the team. It's about giving back. It's about training people. It's about caring about others. That's what a real leader is, not a make-believe leader, but it's somebody who has I guess a servant warrior soul, somebody who is willing to serve others and look out for others, not just yourself. And that's somebody that you are, and that's why I got attracted to you, obviously, because you were that person, and you had those characteristics. But you talk about that, and I think it's so important for people who gravitate to be the whatever department they're in to be a leader, remember that it's not about them. It's about how you can lead others and take them to the top. So tell us a little bit about that in your life.
Yeah, I'll give you a two shout outs to two people that really showed me the understanding of that. Is one two of my professors, Professor Nickerson, amazing guy. Professor No is another guy that these two professors and I'm sorry, let me go three, and another professor of that just was phenomenal in understanding all aspects of film, so you can step in whenever you needed and then become that leader, not just a follower, but a leader in understanding the whole process. And it's just I want to say is like Professor Nickerson said, you got to know all your equipment. You got to know all your details. You've got to be detail oriented here. So one day you'll be stepped in doing a DIT, gaffer, grip, or whatever. There's nothing that can stop me from not doing what I'm doing because I know how to get it done. And then when I have my team there, I can show them how to get it done. And that's what I believe that's why they can connect with me as well. It's just I'm not there just to be a producer. If they need me to do whatever I got to do to get the job done, we get it done. And that's one of the things that I strive on is to train our guys and train and show them that they can do it. And that empowers them to find a purpose, and that purpose is the art of film work. I mean, it's not just a one-man team. It's a constant builder. Absolutely. But yeah, those guys are just phenomenal people that encourage me to even dig deeper into understanding what the systems are and how those systems kind of communicate together and how to tell that story. Because without that vision of understanding when that light bulb kicks in on how everything connects from script writing to building a character and then knowing how to tell that character from sound design, so many different things that obviously, as you well know, what it takes to make a film. And I want to say I strive to be the best that I can be in all forms of filmmaking, so I can express it and show our teams how to get it done. And I think that's one of the things that our professors at the Art Institute did a great job at.
Well, one of the things, Tony, that we talked about, and feel free to share this in whatever way you're comfortable with. I know we've talked on the phone multiple times, but one of the things I had mentioned to you and hearing a lot of your story and pieces of it is that you need to find a way to share your story with the world. And like you talked about, you being broken, being injured, being broken, both physically but psychologically, and then reinventing yourself and finding the strength and finding the courage and finding all the ways to keep going and be an inspiration to people. I mean, I think you got a powerful story, which we're only hearing a little bit of this, which is only kind of normal on a podcast, but you got so much within you that needs to be shared. And so I encourage you, and I'm not sure what the format is or formats. There may be more than one, whether it's a book or it's a web series or it's a documentary or it's a feature film, whatever those formats could be or possibly are. I think there's a lot of story in you and your love of story that can come across. And so I'm just putting it out there and encouraging you to, find a way to do that, because I think you've been given a lot of experiences and gifts in life and you share a lot, but I think you even have more to share. And so that's just me telling you.
Thank you, John. And you're digging deeper. You're going to that next layer, aren't you?
I'm trying.
Yeah, right. And well, it is a very personal, it was a very hard process for me because you go to the VA and I mean, the VA does their thing and you do your thing. But again, it's in God's timing, not in your timing. Like I said, I was a broken person. Physically, mentally, it was a very hard challenge for me to not only understand that I can go back to school, but get that bachelor's degree. And that was one of the hardest things mentally that I can process. And it took a long time to not only support, but having the fortitude to continue to find my purpose. Let me tell you, and whoever's out there, you still can find that purpose. If I did it, anybody can do it, because it's, you got to just dig deeper and have God put it on his hands. And I laid it down on God on the cross, because every single time that I met a challenge, I either, God put somebody in my path to so I can understand it, I can focus on it, and get better at what I do. And those little things that counted so much for understanding the process. It's I can't, there's no way I can't help everybody or thank everybody. How there's no words in my mouth that how I can thank people for doing what I did for me, because I was, like I said, I was a broken person. I was completely broken.
Well, I remember we were sitting one day when we were doing the filming, and I can't exactly remember where we were sitting, but you opened up and shared that brokenness with me. And I think the lesson for all of us sometimes is when we see the surface, we don't know what's going on inside. And you come across, like myself, as a tough guy. You got that tough guy thing, and so you don't know what somebody's going through. And like today, just coincidentally, I was listening to a song on the radio, which I really liked. And it hit me. And now that you mentioned this, the words are, only God knows what you're going through. It's a great song. And, it's like, that's the thing. We don't know what people are going through sometimes, and that brokenness that you may be experiencing as you're overcoming it. But you opened up and you shared that with me. And we had a very deep talk, I think, that day. But, which touched my heart and got me to understand more of who you are and what you are. And so, and what that courage is to deal with that and to overcome that, because it isn't easy. But you did, and you continue to. And so anyway, that's kind of why I wanted to go here today. I guess I just felt like I had to, but that's, you have that. And I think people need to, because sometimes, with social media nowadays, Tony, everything is all good. Everybody thinks everybody's having a perfect life and everything's great. You put all the great stuff on. It's like, oh yeah, it's all easy. It's not. It's not true. It's only one little, the shiny side. There's the other side. There's the other stuff, right? And that's the other thing that people need to hear, because a lot of people are struggling and they need to know what it is to get through that brokenness, that struggle, the stuff that they're experiencing that's not easy right now. And they need a voice to tell them that. So enough for me. Go ahead. You take it from
there. And not just veterans, anybody. I mean, right.
Absolutely.
Just because I'm a veteran, I understand what the veterans go through. But anybody that think that they cannot go through this and fight through this and find their purpose, come to films. I'm telling you, I found my purpose, and it reignited and it restarted my heart to understanding that I can do something that I can, not only God has led me to, but God first, and then He opened that avenue. But through Christ, all things can be done. So that's one of the major things that give it to Him, and He will give you not only the time, but the fortitude and the knowledge to go through that. It's hard. It is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I know the military was hard. Fighting out there as a soldier out there was hard, and it is most difficult things that I've done in my career, in my life. But coming back, they don't train you to come back, and that's one of the things that me and you shared about this. They don't train you to come back from combat. So you come back from over there, and they're like, there you go back to the normal world, but they don't give you the tools. And I'm finally getting, it took me a long time to ask for that kind of help. And there's help out there. There is. Trust me, there's help. If I got the help and I started building little by little, day by day, and it is so difficult, but you can get the right things done with the right assistance. And I wish we have more time on to say all the assistance that I got, but there is help out there to go through this and say, you can find your purpose, and it's God's purpose, to be honest with you, not mine. I just align it with Him. So my will is aligned with God's will, and then we go from there.
Well, obviously, the importance of a lot of people don't have it, but finding a purpose and a mission for your life. When you have it, if you're in the military, that may be your purpose and mission. When people leave, they don't have a purpose and mission, or it's a weaker purpose and mission, and they need to find a new one. But I think one of the things that lead to a fulfilled and happy life is having a purpose and mission. Because without it, you're just existing, and everybody gets to exist.
Correct.
But if you want to go beyond the level of existence to another level of doing stuff that you love and doing stuff that you make a difference in other people's lives and you influence other people for the better, then you need a purpose and mission. And we can all find that purpose and mission. It's not a mystery. It ain't easy necessarily to find, but like you said, you found it again and again, and that's, now you have a new purpose and mission, and that's what you're working on right now.
And that's one of the major things is just listen to what he's got to tell you. Just listen to what that direction looks like. It might not be your timing or your answer, but he will answer you. And that's the
we got a little bit of a freeze. Are you there? Yep.
Every morning.
Hopefully we're bouncing back in. You got a little bit of a freeze. All right. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to throw up some
wake up, Lord. What do you got?
This is us with Termite right here in Houston, Texas, and Fighter Nation. This is another picture of us with Termite as well, and another friend in Fighter Nation in Houston, Texas. Are you back in, Tony? All right, I'm going to throw up. That's just some pictures while I'm getting them. Hopefully his signal will come back in. I'm going to throw up his contact information. Here it is, Tony Garcia, TkG Media Productions, Houston, Texas. That's his phone number. His email, tonytx712@gmail.com. So that's how you get in touch with Tony, whether you're looking for a production company to help you, you're looking for location manager, you're looking for a team of people who can help you with whatever video or film projects you're working at in Houston or outside of Houston. Let's see, Tony, any luck? And we lost Tony. All right, well, that was, he finished on a strong note, and I think he shared a powerful message. He may jump back on. I got a couple more minutes, otherwise I'll just kind of wrap up the show. And thank you, Tony Garcia, for joining me. It's been an honor to know you, brother, and continue to work with you in the future. For everybody who's been watching the show, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch Live Courageously. I just shared today, I'm going to turn this show, I'm going to be writing the ebook that I'm going to put out called Live Courageously. And then I also got some ideas about taking all the transcripts of the people I've interviewed with their cooperation and doing a series of books, Live Courageously, to inspire people to choose faith over fear and to choose to live courageously. So that's kind of the future of where I'm going with this piece of my life besides my film production stuff. Tony is a powerful story. You only heard some of it. Someday, I know he's going to get working on sharing that journey that he's went to get past being broken and overcoming that and being who he is today. And I think a lot of people need to hear that story if you're facing challenges in life that on the surface, it may look like, everything's perfect, but we all have issues that we deal with and challenges that we have. And there's people out there who will help you. There's all kinds of things that can help you overcome. This show hopefully will contribute to anybody that's facing that. If you want to reach out to me, you can direct message me and I will put up my numbers real quick. So this is how you can contact me via email, my YouTube channel, Live Courageously with John Duffy, my Facebook page, my Instagram page. This is my contact information. And if you need somebody to talk to, or you can always reach out to me. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us today on Super Bowl Sunday and this journey with Tony Garcia. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you watch it in a replay on YouTube channel, and I kept talking long enough to bring him back in. Hey, Tony.
Sorry about that, buddy.
No worries. So I just did a lot of summing up. I put up your contact numbers. I told people how they could reach you, your company, to do video and film production, location management, just to reach out to you for projects both in Houston and outside of Houston. And I just told people that, that you just gave us a very powerful journey of your life today. So we got a few more minutes. So I'll jump back into, if you want to add some stuff that you want to share with people that they can take away for their lives, that you've been gifted and learned in your life, that, we can do as a takeaway at the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I do, John. I know that. Thank you again for having me on your show here. I just want to say that it's always a challenge. It's always a battle, but it's not over. There's always help out there. Always surround yourself with people like yourself that can always help you out, because I didn't do it by myself, but there's help out there. Reach it out, and like I said, it took me a long time to come to that conclusion, but now that I'm in the film industry, it's my passion. It's what I do now. And again, here in Houston, our goal is to bring as many productions here to Houston as possible. We got the teams, we got the artistic concepts, we have the right people. We have, just bring the shows here to Houston, because we can shoot it. We can. Adam Taylor, shout out to him too. Adam is one of my guys that I go to constantly. He's an awesome dude, awesome filmmaker here. That we just cling in with each other, man. We do some good work here.
Yes, you do. And once again, I recommend people to reach out to you and contact you to do that work. Once again, those stories, the power of story, story is so powerful, because it's what makes movies. When you hear the hero's journey in a movie, it's somebody's story of going out on a quest, overcoming obstacles, finding people to support them, team mentors, and overcoming and achieving that goal. And that so many stories follow that pattern in movies, but that's also our lives. Our lives follow the same pattern, and we're the screenwriter and we're the director of our lives. So, we face the obstacles in our life. We face the adversity. We need people around us to help us, a team to build, to overcome that, and to be able to succeed and come out the other side, and not stay a victim, but become a hero, become a leader. And so that's, the hero's journey is not only something in movies, it's also something in our lives as well. So, having that storytelling passion is important for not only movies, but for our lives. And I think, are you with me, Tony? Yeah, I think we're doing a little bit of a freeze. But anyway, I think that's the message, that we're getting, is that, if you know the hero's journey, if you've been in filmmaking, you understand that's just one form of storytelling for feature films. But it's also a metaphor for life, for our lives, to be able to go on those kind of journeys and to overcome the obstacles and have the courage to, no matter what life throws at us, that we find a way to overcome it, and we find the people around us to help us overcome it and help them overcome it. So that's kind of a little bit the message. That's the message of Tony's life. That's the message of my life. And I'm, once again, technology is technology. And this is what happens with live podcasting. But anyway, it's been a great day. Thank you, everybody. Anybody who watches this, thank you. Please share it. I'll be having a lot more guests. I got another 40 friends of mine that I need to interview that also have great, powerful, amazing stories. So it's going to be a busy year of me doing Live Courageously podcast shows with a lot of great friends like Tony Garcia and other people coming up. So stay tuned every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. East Coast Time, and join us every week. Share the thing. It's always going to be recorded on Facebook, and you can also watch it on my YouTube channel. So final words from Tony, if this technology works for him to say any final words, and then I just want to thank everybody for listening and watching. And not any luck.
I don't know if you can hear me, John. I got to connect the backup again.
I can. Give me some final words as we close out the show.
Sure. Absolutely. One last thing is, again, I we were just talking about today the sermon that we heard today about the holiness of God, and the holiness of God is what he's the leader of all this, and we just connect with that holiness as much as we can and as powerful as we can, and he will lead us through Christ. All things can be done. And again, it's not an easy journey, but it's a journey that with perseverance and belief in true of faith that we have in him is the direction that will get you to where we need to be, and not only in our lives, but where I see my faith has gotten me to this point in my life. So again, thank you, John, for your time, and thank you again for everybody that.
And thank you, Tony, for being part of this. Thank you for sharing your words and your wisdom with us. And I'm going to put up your contact information, and then I'm going to close it.
But I hope that we do some more.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tony. Have a great day, man. And here's your contact information for everybody. Once again, Tony Garcia, TkG Media Productions, Houston, Texas. And that's his phone number and his email. So reach out to him, support him. And thank you, brother. Have a great day. And we got another, we're going to lose that one. And we got a second. Tony's multiplying
here.
That's good,
God
man.
bless you, man.
So anyway, just hey, God bless you, brother. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you for sharing everything. I look forward to working with you as well. This is out there. Let's share it with people, and look forward to working with you in the future, my brother. And on that note, even the second one froze. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday Super Bowl.
You got it. I could think